Let's retrace the main events in the audio frequency circuit. The microphone brings about a pulsating direct current. The transformer changes this to an alternating current. Vacuum tubes amplify this alternating current, which then goes to the modulator tube.
Molecules containing more than one atom can rotate and vibrate. Sometimes vibration is simple in form. We can see that each vibrational mode has a different frequency, and all of the patterns of vibration may be different. Each of the vibrations is a simple harmonic motion.
The same peaked wave triggers a pulse-forming circuit, which creates a new waveform, pulses with flat tops. Notice that throughout these changes, the exact subdivisions of our second in time have not been lost. We still have precisely the same number of positive peaks per second.
Pulsating direct current. Pulsating direct current.
If the sine wave's frequency is 1,000 cycles a second, we have actually divided 1 second into 1,000 equal parts. But in this sine wave, it's impossible to tell where each thousandth of a second begins and ends. That's why it's changed into this, a peaked wave, which can be measured from positive peak to positive peak.
The microphone brings about a pulsating direct current. Vacuum tubes amplify this alternating current, which then goes to the modulator tube.
The number of times a given molecule moves back and forth in 1 second is the frequency of the wave. In one complete vibration, indicated here by the bracket, sound travels a distance of 1 wavelength. The velocity of any sound wave equals its wavelength times its frequency.
If they start insulting me, then I'll definitely put on a show.
Any pretty?
Hey, what's going on?
Hello, I got that earlier. Hello and welcome.
Angry.
Why? I want to know.
Because you're sitting next to their grave.
Well, yes.
There was a.
I'm happy for you to stay.
Oh, that's nice.
Hello?
All right, guys, welcome to another episode for Left Eye E.G.O.
Introductions are always in order. I'm the double whose door is always open. Gandalf without the gray or the white because I'm all black. Jordan LaForge capping this enterprise and the long lost homie of Zach Morris and AC Slater. Since y'all got jokes, I am Left Eye Ego. It's officially one of my most favorite times of the year. It's spooky season. And who better to do this with than a group of paranormal investigators? So, guys, I will be joined right now by Gen X Paranormal Investigations. Gentlemen, how are you guys doing this evening?
Good. We're doing good.
All right. First of all, I know I said it backstage, but I just want to say thank you guys again so much. I know this is probably peak time of the year for you all, so thank you for setting aside time to answer all my noob ghost hunter and paranormal investigation questions.
No problem.
Right. All right. So, guys, I put out earlier some questions that I wanted to know if you guys want to have answered on there. So, a few of them that I've got are from me and Shiro, just basically on all the horror movies we've watched, as well as some of the questions that you guys sent me as well. I'm going to try to have them answer as many as they can within the hour that we have allotted to us this evening. But first, I'm just going to go ahead and check in on the chats today. Again, we had Dempsey coming in. Thank you, good sir. You had some good questions as well. Same with my man Jacob Ironside. Want to double check and make sure we got people. We've got my boy, the stunt man, on via Instagram Live. A stunt man, and I know that we are also live on X as well. So I got people on there as well. But again, wherever you're joining me, YouTube, Instagram, X, thank you so much. Even if you're catching us on the replay as well. So, gentlemen, if you're ready, let's go ahead and get right into it. First things first that I have got to ask is, how did you guys even get into this to begin with? I mean, was there like an inciting incident that prompted your interest in this, or just like randomly finding curiosity to it? That was Dempsey's question from one of the questions that I posted. So yeah, each if you want to take your time and let us know how you got into this.
Well, for me, it was my grandparents' house was haunted, and growing up, we heard stories for years and years. Well, we did as kids, but found out later that my mom and her siblings, they didn't talk about it when they were younger living there. They didn't talk about it until they actually moved out.
Okay.
And just hearing all these stories and then going over and visiting, and then actually while I was actually staying there, we had an incident happen to me. So it was just a spooky house. It really was.
Really? And I guess is going to have splintering questions for me, but I guess we'll go to the next person before I get us sidetracked.
Go for it, buddy.
Oh, he got me into it. We've been best friends or been practically brothers for I don't know 20 years more, something like that. And we've worked together and stuff. And we were studying for this big giant test. And he goes, we need to stop and smell the roses. So we tried to figure a bunch of other stuff that we could do, and he was like, "Hey, let's let's try to make the world a better place by capturing evil." And I was like,
"Oh, okay."
I thought we'd just do paranormal hunting and meet in the middle, and then come around something like that pretty accurate, right? Okay.
It's been like that. It's been like that ever since.
Yeah. Been rocking and rolling. It kind of took a life of its own.
That is awesome. So again, I just not to see if it's too on the head, but I wanted to know, how did you guys come up with the Gen X name for the company, for the paranormal investigations, or is it as simple as that sounds?
It's as simple as it sounds.
Yeah, and plus I thought it sounded kind of like the X-Men from the comics and stuff, and I thought that
nice.
Was cool.
That's awesome.
Because we ain't very woke. We're just kind of rough around the edges, and we get to it,
And we're all Gen X, so
yeah.
Well, I appreciate it.
Most of us.
Yeah.
Simple and straight to the point. I like it. All right. So the other one I want to double check on here is, all right. So how many investigations have you guys actually done, and like, how did the very first one go for you?
I think the actual very first investigation we did
Well, there's a difference. We got harvest and we got investigations.
Okay.
So I guess right now the investigation was Yorktown Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
We rented Yorktown Hospital for the night. Decided to run around there and see if we couldn't get Darren here possessed or something.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't
Oh,
remembering
that's
that.
Yeah, that was the first one with Darren. It was our second time there, and it was pretty awesome.
Oh, were y'all scared at all, or was it just like, this is what we're gonna do? No fear, we're going in.
I wasn't. It didn't bother me. I wasn't scared. I didn't have anything really bad happen to me. Now,
Yeah.
some of the other members, Kyle didn't want to go into the doll room.
The doll
room?
room?
You got locked in by yourself in the creepiest part of the whole place. Yeah, and we forgot about it.
Yeah, so
Man.
downstairs there's a basement.
Okay.
Kind of basement, I guess you can call it. And they had this big metal cage. So he thought it'd be a good idea to spice it up and everybody do something alone somewhere in the thing. So I was like, I thought I was gonna dodge a bullet, and I was like, I'll pick the cage. And I thought, oh, I'm real smart. I'll pick the cage. And yeah, so I picked the cage, and apparently we didn't get any radio contact or anything, and nobody
What?
set the timer.
Yeah. So the setup was you had to sit in there in the dark by yourself, no lights, nothing. And we had a night vision camera on a tripod videoing the whole thing.
Okay.
And when he went to go do that, we had a radio and our walkie-talkie, and upstairs is where we had base camp, and they had a watch, and what was it, 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 15 minutes. So we get on the radio, all right, start timer, and then everybody would leave the person by themselves, in this creepy ass place, right? And well, I said, hey, start timer, and then I went upstairs, and something had blocked it. And there's nothing wrong with the radios; they work the rest of the time. Okay. So I get up there and I'm like, all right, man, I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette, relax, 30 something minutes go by, and I'm like, has it been 15 minutes? And they're like,
oh no,
we hadn't even started the timer. What? My big fat ass ran all the way down there because I was like, oh man, he's gonna be skinless and all kinds of shit. How do I explain that to his wife? Oopsies. And so, anyways, he wasn't traumatized too bad. And, but yeah.
I was wondering. Well, I mean, I was wondering. I saw some of the footage that you guys had when you were in the jail cells. I was like, is it completely dark, or is there a light source someplace? So you guys can do them. You guys will do them completely dark sometimes too.
It's usually always completely dark. The jail cells, the red light you see is just the red light to help the night vision of the camera. So that's the only light in there for the most part.
Yeah, some of our cameras are night vision, and then some of our better cameras aren't. So we have to use the red light.
It just enhances the night vision.
Okay. Well, I mean, that bleeds into the next question because I was going to ask, because I know that you'll see the movies. I'll have this piece of equipment, that camera. Like, what are some of the, I guess, the modern tools you guys use in your investigations now? Because I know that one of the videos you guys had an iPhone at one point. So what all do you use for everything?
We use our phones. You can either, you can use them as the camera as they're supposed to be, or there's a bunch of apps that you can actually download and use also, which
really
use that Ghost Tube was an actual app that you can use for free off of. You can download it and use it, and they have different things.
That's real.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, man. If you're like me, you're like, man, that's a phone app. That's bullshit. That ain't gonna work. You gotta buy the real stuff. Let me tell you, this thing somehow hits thing nails on the head so many times that even I was like, I don't know how, why, whatever. You know, there was this one time. One time, one of the guys was doing the sit alone thing, and he was in a cage in the jail. Or, no, he was at the other cage, and he had scared me earlier, right, by standing in the dark, and I walked in front of him, and he just kind of breathed on the back of my neck. He was a real tall guy, and I went to elbow him in the face, and I could feel like his beard, and I stopped, and I go, bro, you almost died. And fast forward a couple hours later, he's in the cage, right? And he's kind of stuck in the cage, and I'm walking by the cage, and I know I'm a horrible person, but I farted into that cage. Okay? Well, the app that they're talking about, just nobody was talking, nothing. I did that. He looked at me and he goes, retribution. And I'm like, yeah, motherfucker. That's what you get for trying to scare me. He's like, oh. Yeah, you know.
Oh, man.
Yeah. It's an adventure.
You gotta have a good time, you know.
You do.
Yeah, because it's a long night, and sometimes there's nothing happening, so you have to spice it up. If it's not fun, it's not worth doing.
Okay.
I mean, we do take it seriously when we have activity going on. So, but and sometimes we mess with each other. There's one of the guys. I mean, he has a thing about dolls. He just doesn't like them. So we do everything we can to try to get him with the dolls.
Expand his horizons, if you will.
It's a growing process for all of us.
That is awesome. So, I guess the other thing is, I guess for the uninitiated that may not know about how all this works, what are some of the rules for paranormal investigations? My wife Shira wanted to ask that question.
Well, first of all, I think you need to go in with an open mind.
Okay.
But don't assume everything is paranormal just because you hear something. I mean, that's the one thing the movies ought to tell you. Oh, I heard something. It's got to be a ghost. It doesn't necessarily have to be. Try to find a logical reason for it. Then, if you don't find a logical reason for it, it could be paranormal. Still doesn't necessarily mean the spirit. It just means it's something out of the normal realm of what we know. And you definitely don't. One of the biggest rules, like I say, don't go in impaired. You don't want to be out drinking and then go do an investigation, because we actually heard that. I think sometimes when you do that, you end up being disrespectful to the spirits, and then that's when you have a bit more violent towards you. If you want, they don't like to be disrespected, especially if it's a peaceful entity there. You don't want to disrespect them. I mean, most of the people that want an investigation, like if their home has something, they just want to find out what it is. Doesn't necessarily mean it's evil. It could just be a spirit transiting through. We've noticed that in Galveston. We've done several places in Galveston, and a lot of the spirits seem to be not attached to the specific place, because the history of Galveston with the 1900 hurricane, there was a lot of death, and it moves through the whole island. And we've heard that some spirits will come in and then they move on somewhere else.
Huh. Okay. I didn't know that. Well, I mean, I guess I know that I met you guys in Houston for Palooza this year. And I know that you guys had been in Galveston as well. So I guess the other question I was following up with that is from Ginger Ninja that posited this question. He said, are there certain types of areas where paranormal activity is more common?
I usually, like with me, it seems like it's when something very traumatic happened in the area.
Okay.
Because then you can get like a psychic energy. When someone's traumatized and then they die, it could leave what they believe is a psychic imprint on the area around it. to where it may not be a ghost, but yet a loop of this psychic energy replaying itself over and over again, right?
Okay.
And so when crime scenes, when we go to places that very horrible things have happened, tend to get a lot more evidence.
Jails.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are just violent in there, or they were just a violent person, and that leaves that imprint in the place.
Yeah, and the last jail we went to, Cold Springs, found out that the sheriff was a corrupt sheriff that killed people, waterboarded people. Him and his deputies tormented people for 25 years before they finally got caught, and they went to prison. And so a lot of horrible things happened in that jail, and we got a lot of stuff, a lot of evidence. It was a good one.
And I'm guessing it draws other spirits there, or they get stuck there too, or is it like you'll see a lot of both on that regard, or?
Yeah, it can be a loop, or it can be an actual entity. Yeah, you got to differentiate. If you're getting the same thing over and over again, then it's a psychic loop probably. So,
I'm not sure if I know what this term is, but this guy Dempsey was asking, is it necrophysic turbulence? I hadn't heard of that, or do y'all know what that is?
I mean, that's exactly, but it's imprinted on the area, so it can't move. It's local to that area, and it'll only happen in that area. Whereas you might get somebody talking to you in this room, then you go down to the basement and you get them talking to you. Well, that's moving, right? So
yeah, that one falls more under the intelligent, because they have the two kinds: the intelligent hauntings and residual. The residual is the residual, like when you hear somebody, they see a spirit walking through a wall. A lot of that it's just the loop that he was talking about. When the person was alive, there could have been a door there, and now the place has been renovated, or it's a new building all the way around, but this loop doesn't know that, and it was always a door. So it'll never be able to communicate with you. It'll just do the same thing over and over, just walk the same path for ever.
Yeah, a lot of people think it's not. It's just a remnants of the psychic trauma, and it's not even that person anymore. It's not, they done moved on or whatever.
It's kind of an echo.
It's an echo. And so
that makes more sense on there. So I guess they were good.
I mean, so
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep going. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you try to differentiate them, because that'll determine how you proceed with the investigation.
How do you guys differentiate with the tools you have or the experience you have? How do you guys know the difference?
Well, one's mobile and one's not, right?
Okay.
And so also, we know that once we've gotten a certain amount and it's keep looping, we're not getting any more. We're just going to get the same stuff. So stop spinning your wheels on that spot and start looking for others.
Right, and if you're asking questions and it is actually answering you intelligently, if you ask for a name, it gives you a name, different things like that, then it's more of an intelligent entity where you may be able to get more out of it. But the other thing there too, they may not be able to draw in enough energy to completely communicate with you there too.
Okay.
That's the other key on this. How it takes a lot of energy for them to communicate with us. Okay. That's why a lot of the shows and movies you hear about, batteries being drained, because it's using the energy from that to move something, to let you know it's there, to try to talk to you, which is actually one of the tools we actually have found and use, or trying to use. It's new to us yet. It's a device that actually puts energy into the atmosphere around that it can use to draw in to communicate.
What's that called?
It's called an EMF pump.
Okay.
EMF is electromagnetic field. It's some of the tools like an EMF meter. It's an electrician's tool, but they geared it toward being able to use it in paranormal investigations.
That's
Because some people believe that the spirits use EMF to communicate with us. Some people believe that they give out EMF, or if there's enough EMF, they can use it. So sometimes if you read a high fluctuation where there should be nothing, it could be spirit. Because even in that, like back in the Cold Springs jail, at the end of our video, one of the guys was doing a Estes method in the cell, and I was recording the EMF meter, and it spiked up to 15. And he reached down and rubbed his leg. Didn't think nothing of it at the time.
Okay.
Afterwards, when we asked him about it, he said he felt like something stabbed him in the back of the knee, like being shanked at the exact same time we had a spike, which at least gives us kind of a correlation. A little bit later, right before then, before we quit it, it spiked up again, and he yelled, "Ow," because something screamed into the earphones at him at the exact same time. So there was a kind of correlation with the EMF field and him having something happen to him. So that's what we try to use those. So it sounded like that was more of an intelligent haunting, because some of the things that were being said earlier, they were the spirit was taunting us, calling names, stuff like that.
Okay. Wow. Okay. I mean, I guess the one thing you did mention was about like you see in the movie. So I have to ask this: what scary movie resembles what you've experienced during your investigations, and which one scared you the most and why?
Investigations.
As far as the investigations part, I really haven't had anything that goes with the movies, because it's Hollywood. They hype it up a lot, so everything's been pretty tame for me. But for y'all with the harvest stuff, there may be a little bit more.
Yeah, we do. We also do something that we actually try to help people with any kind of negative demonic entities, and we have had an enormous amount of things happen to us during the.
I see.
Yeah, so I mean, we're talking about our ghost hunting right now, but you ask what scares us, and quite honestly, we go ghost hunting to rest. It's relaxing.
Go ahead, sorry, say that part again.
Yeah, we ghost hunt just to rest and relax and have a good time.
Okay.
Because when we're working harvest cases, we're actually dealing with children that have been murdered. We did a house where her son had committed suicide. Her 9-year-old was being choked at night. They don't know why. They had the Catholic priest come twice.
What?
And we did a harvest for them, and then what we did was we left them alone and came back 2 months later, and they said it's all stopped, but they didn't want to talk about it because they didn't want to jinx it. And we do that. We don't get paid to do that. We just do it to help people. But we've seen a lot of dark stuff because of that. So when we go ghost hunting, the spirit's like, "Hey, buddy, what's going on?"
Wow, I did not know that. Okay.
Well, because people ghost hunt, but that's it. What's the next step? What's the next step when you know something's hurting? Do you just ghost hunt video, try to put it online, or do you actually try to help?
I see. Okay, that's how. I guess that's what I was trying to figure out too. Is between ghost hunting and you said these are harvests. That's what you call them.
Yeah, we basically harvest the entity into something.
Okay.
And that something we have made a mistake of bringing home before, and it's screwed up a whole bunch of stuff. And so now I have to have a storage unit just for these things.
I need y'all to hold on for 2 minutes. I need my wife to hear this just because she's gonna trip her out. Hold on. Let me just. I'm sorry, guys. Two minutes. Just give me 2 minutes. I'm sorry. Chat and you guys. 2 minutes. I'm sorry.
Like, can you read what they're saying, buddy?
Not really. My eyes are getting bad.
Well, there are people talking to us, but Darren doesn't know how to read.
Here's a question that I have always wondered about. What's your plan if you find a hostile ghost or whatever, phantasm or specter?
So when we find something hostile, usually it's because it's trying to communicate, and most people take it as hostile when it's not really. It's just desperate. It wants to communicate, but that scares people. Now, when we come across something dark and evil, well, then we do a harvest, and we try to take that energy away from the place so that it doesn't hurt nobody else.
Okay. All right. So sorry about that. I was trying to get my wife on this because she perked up when I said travelers because she's got a big thing about that too. So please tell me about how you accidentally brought. I guess I don't know if travelers is the correct term to put it on, but the entity that followed you back. Like, how did that happen, and how did you know?
Which one?
Oh my God! You know this more than once. Tell me the first one because that's always the most interesting to me. The first one you brought home. How did you know?
The first one I knew is when I came home from the harvest. My daughter had stayed up late because she was excited about what happened. And as I walk in, the TV just turns on and off all of a sudden. She goes, "Well, Dad, that's creepy." And I said, "Yeah, I'm tired. I'll deal with that shit in the morning." And we would sit down, and I had a case where I think it was a child spirit that attached to me, and the chair starts rocking itself, and me and my daughter are sitting there, and she pulls up. Y'all are all high tech people, right? She pulls up this thing that I guess puts glasses on faces, and it put glasses on something that's rocking in this chair that no one's sitting in.
Oh, hail to the now.
You read my mind. There's new. Oh my God! So the filter put a face on something that wasn't there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like one of the Instagram filters. You know what I mean? Like you could do the one in the little puppy dog tongue and all that, and they put little sunglasses on.
Yeah. That's my wife, Shiro. She's right. I kick her out the house for bringing that back. Oh my goodness. All right. I guess that's the first one. What was the latest one? I'm sorry. How did you get rid of it? The one that attached to you?
Well, the child, I didn't. The child was not hurting anybody, and quite honestly, that if you understood the case, this particular child had nobody loving him.
Okay.
And I told him he did start like knocking stuff down in my daughter's room, and all I did was I was like, "Look, bro, I can love you, or I cannot love you. You're gonna either act right and stay, or we're gonna do a harvest on you. You ain't gonna like that at all." And sure enough, everything was just peaceful and everything. Things would move here and there, but it wouldn't fall off the counter or nothing. And we just kind of got used to having the fella around.
Have you named him? Does he have a name, or just he's around?
Or
you're not supposed to name him?
Well, Chris. I call him Chris.
Okay.
But he's like my Casper the Friendly Ghost.
I didn't want to say it, but that's what it sounded like. I want to.
But I've also had it where I brought something home that scratched my daughter in her sleep.
What?
And at which point I did a solo harvest of my house, and it stopped that night. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So
How big? I'm sorry. How big is the storage place for all the ones that you've had to harvest and put away?
right now, it's only a 5x5. It's got 3 bookshelves in it, and each one holds a project that we've done. And and when we go to there, it's got electric doors that sends people to walk in. The door just starts opening and closing by itself, and it's like 50 feet away. And we're used to it now. It's like whatever. We have people call us that need help. That something's attacking them. We go help them, bring that to the storage. And eventually I have to get a new one, a bigger one. I mean, this one's almost full, so
What? Oh
but
my
it's
god!
got big
I
storage.
I guess this is my question. My wife Shira put up. Does your daughter want to follow in your footsteps while we're at it?
Yes and no. I have 2 daughters, and the oldest one kind of says, "Yeah, you're crazy, Dad, and I don't want that crap around my house." And I honestly, it takes a serious turn because I mean, she actually pondered the idea of me not coming over no more to her house
Oh,
because
oh,
because she was afraid. But she knows how I am, and she knows that if she gave me the ultimatum, helping a stranger is the perfect love.
okay.
So, you're supposed to love everybody like they're your children or your brother and sister. And if we can help in a way that nobody else can, and she knew that that's how I felt, and so she never gave me the ultimatum.
Okay.
I still go over there. She's wonderful. She does silently say a prayer every time I leave, but
And there might be some sage involved afterwards.
I, you know what? I don't blame her at all. I don't blame her at all.
no, and I've had a talk with both of them about the storage unit and when I pass away, because when you destroy these things, it just releases the energy.
Okay.
Okay, so you can't just, hey, I'm gonna burn this and be done with it. Okay,
Okay.
so I asked my oldest one, and she's like, "Yeah, Dad, you're fucked. I am not doing that. You know what? I'm letting that storage go to whoever buys it on Storage Wars. Okay, they just getting it, and they have no idea what they're getting, Dad, because I ain't touching it. And then my youngest one, she's a little more wild, but you know, that's the way it is. So
I got you. Wow. That's I guess that's a great question. I have to answer how you would do this with your family on there too. I guess the other thing is speaking of your daughter, burning sage. If you guys don't mind me asking, what's your belief system? Catholic, agnostic, Buddhist, whatever. And has it changed since you've been doing this? Harvest and ghost hunting included.
I'm Christian, and
Oh, okay.
for the most part, no, it hasn't. It has a little bit. Like I said, I've always known that there was something out there. Even from being a little kid.
Yeah.
But meeting, getting with these guys, learning that the spirits and even the dark stuff is it's energy because everybody is energy. The way I started looking at it is when somebody passes away, for the most part, their soul does move on.
Okay.
But whatever's still here, for whatever reason, is just an echo. And be it if they were trapped here via violent issue. Sometimes your evil people will leave an evil echo, and that's some people that's what they think is the darker things. So that's the way I've started looking at it. That for the most part the person still passes on, but this is just a shadow or an echo that's left for whatever reason. But nobody knows why, because if it would, with everybody, you would think every place on the planet would have a spirit of some kind. Because people pass away in homes all the time that nothing ever happens in. Hospitals, I mean, you get some spirits, but you would think that they would be completely full. So,
Yeah.
why is that? So I think it's a little more for whatever reason that particular person's soul blazed a little hotter for some reason, and that's why it left a little more of an echo.
Okay.
That's my take on
it. Very good take. I believe in it all. It doesn't.
I like it.
God, devil, angel, Buddha, Allah, whatever. It all works for me. I'm not smart enough to be able to tell other people what to believe in. So, and the stuff, how has it changed me? Oh, wow. I can say I was always a believer in everything, but I think the first time we ever did, I was a little kind of iffy on magic, honestly.
Okay.
And the first time we did, the very first one that we did, I, uh, I believed, and I was a more firm believer afterwards because we built a bonfire, and it wasn't a big bonfire, but it was a solid fire. And I could build fires, cook out, all that shit. And let me tell you, the amount of wood we used should have lasted probably a day. And that thing burned out, and I mean to nothing but ash in about 25 minutes. And I was like, that is some real shit right there. I mean, that is some legit real shit. And after that, I was pretty much sold. And
then we tested the items.
Yeah.
We would test the item before the harvest and test it afterwards with the same tests. And I'm talking like just regular science, weight, temperature, just all of that. And we recorded it, and come to find out after, it was different. The results were different. And then our skeptic of the group that ran the test went outside the next morning, called me out, and said, "Hey, bro, I know I'm supposed to be a skeptic of the group, but I can't explain all that shit that happened last night." And because we kept the harvested item, we kept it. We were out of town, so we had it in our hotel room with us. And it was turning on and off lights.
Even after we unplugged them from the wall,
it was shaking and kicking things and making lamps almost fall off the furniture.
Which was bolted to the wall, which I tried to recreate the next day and could not.
And we got video. of it. And, it drained we had 7 cameras, and it drained every single one of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it drained all the batteries. The only reason why we have video of the lamp being kicked is because he used his phone and plugged it into the wall socket. That's the only reason why we have that. And
which is why I had to unplug the lamp so that he could plug in his charger.
It's.
And you can hear the great grizzly bear over here snoring.
It's exhausting doing a harvest.
I mean, it sounds like I didn't know all that went into it. I mean, I guess they show you, the movies. It's usually the priest or somebody. They do the thing, and they just go on to the next one. So I have no idea how physically, mentally, and emotionally taxing that whole ordeal can be.
Let me just tell you, that's not normal ghost hunting.
Okay, I got it.
That is that's a thing that we do because things feels like they're getting darker in the world, and this is our small way that we try to help. And most ghost hunters think we're the crazy ones. So
the ghost hunters think you guys are crazy.
Yeah. Well, who goes after demons, right? On purpose.
You know what? I gotta add this from Nadia. She said, have you ever come across something more than ghosts, like jinns or demons? I know when you have harvest, it might be demons or entities, but like jinns, anything else like that you guys run into?
Yes.
Really?
There is a place in Huntsville called Demon Road, And
Huntsville, where?
Huntsville, Texas.
Russell, honey, we're not. Don't take me there. Don't ask me to go there. Don't try to play with me. I'm not going there. No Demon Road over here.
It's called St. Martha's
Chapel.
It's a small little cemetery off a dirt road, about, I don't know, 2.5 miles away from anywhere.
Yeah, and a lot of satanic cults go out there and do their rituals and stuff. And so there's a lot of things going on out there, energy wise. And we thought it was a jinn, and but it ended up being kind of like a demonic gatekeeper. And
a demonic gatekeeper?
Yes, and it actually, the very first time, we did 2 harvests to get him. Okay, and the first harvest, the guy that was with us got possessed.
Oh no! No.
And it's not like in the movies where okay. It was, he saw me walking around and he just wanted to kill me. And I'm not a small fella, but neither was he. But he figured if they hit me behind the head with a stick or something, he'd have a fighting chance. And
I think that way without a demonic entity, but
the thing is he was getting real jealous because I was walking. We were looking through the cemetery, and I was with his wife and his daughter. Yeah, everything is. But he just started getting jealous. And if you know the history of this guy, he doesn't get jealous. And so he was gonna try to take me out, and then it started making him want to throw up because it was so intense. And then he was like, I got to get out of here. And we're like, okay, buddy. So we get out of there, get away, and he feels better. And it took him a while before he told us that that's what was going through his head. He's like, bro, I was going to kill you, man. And because it was so real, I got sick of my nerves and everything. And I said, well, I mean, something was, reaching out to you and trying to get you to do something. I appreciate you not killing me, buddy. Anyway, him and his girlfriend, they said, look, we can't do this no more. And then 2 days later, he calls me and says, you know what? If that can happen to me, that can happen to other people. Fuck this thing. Let's get it. I said, all right. Yeah. So we went back, and that was our first time. And it's that each one of these harvests could be a whole show. Okay. With everything that goes on with them. And anyways, we did it. Nothing. Didn't get any signs. Nothing. Like nothing happened. And we know now why. But later on, I'm like, dude, we gotta go back. And I want to walk the road in the darkness by myself. To where no phone, no flashlight, nothing. And so they backed me up, and they kind of made a camp, and I did that. And it was kind of spiritual in a way, because when you're by yourself in the darkness, and there's no way of making light in any way, yeah, that's right. And that's what we do is we take the fight to the dark stuff. None of this, hey, I'll pray for you, or hey, man, I don't even want to talk about it because I don't want to get, no. There are people out there that are hurting, and no one will help them, and people alienate them because they don't want that kind of mojo on them. Well, we're different. We don't care about the mojo. We know how to handle the energy. Been doing energy work, qigong, tai chi, meditation with the nuns at the temples, for most of my life. And energy is where it's at, and you cannot destroy energy, but you can manipulate and move it. And so that's what we do with these evil entities.
That is amazing. I didn't think it went this deep. It was extensive training on it too.
Oh yeah, I was the weirdo reading books about this stuff when I was 12, and all my other friends were trying to get girlfriends and go out and get drunk. Huh.
He is not lying.
I'm not.
He's still the weirdo. I think his unofficial title is the expert of creepy shit in the group.
He's working his way into there. I want to say if there was one of you that would be, it'd be him, but he's really working his way in there.
So and then we were like, you know what? We couldn't find a case for a while, and we were like, let's just do a regular ghost hunt. And so we found that Yorktown Hospital. Great people that run that thing, and wonderful. And we paid and went. And that was our first ghost hunt, and it was neat, you know. And I got pictures of like shadow figures and stuff down the hall.
Really?
And I got a picture of him where it looks like he's an angel in wings of shadows standing at the pulpit, I think they call it, where the preacher does the sermon, and he's standing up there, and the shadows behind him, I don't know, dude, they just look like dark angel wings behind him in the shadows. It's crazy as shit.
Yeah.
And, we got on that one the Demon Road. The second time we did it, I got a picture of where we started the fire. It actually looks like a goat's head in the smoke of the fire. It was pretty cool.
Pardon me, a goat's head in the fire.
Yeah. It was pretty crazy, dude. We've had some pretty crazy stuff, like the lamp thing the first time, and it's just really, really, I don't know, it's really crazy. But Darren here, he's probably the hardest working man in paranormal.
All right.
I am not.
So yeah, we put ourselves out as just a regular ghost hunting group, and we do regular ghost hunting, and we have fun. We have our little adventures too on that, you know. But you know, it's like, what's the difference between a ghost hunter and a bird watcher?
I don't know. What is the difference?
There isn't one. All you're doing is recording and watching. That's it. Huh. You're not doing nothing with it. You're not the information you're receiving. Ghost hunting, you're really just recording and watching, right?
Interesting.
I mean, to actually go after or to help these entities, that's where it's at, you know.
But sometimes, though, I mean, we have to put our thing out there to, because some people have something in their house and they think it's bad because it scares them, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. I mean, we can help them that way just to determine what's there. Because one of the biggest things a lot of these shows do, and it really started bugging me, is every time somebody gets scratched, and they always say 3 scratches, oh no, it's demonic.
Yeah.
If you scratch somebody with your hand right now, your pinky is a lot smaller. You're not going to get as much.
Okay.
And you're probably not going to scratch them, but with 3 fingers. So the spirit doesn't know how much energy it takes to get your attention. It's just trying to get your attention. So some of the scratches could just be it doesn't know how much energy it's using.
Okay.
Or it's just doing a one big burst, and that's what can happen, you know. So.
Okay. All right. I guess we'll
educate the people if they have it in their house. It could be a relative of theirs just is checking in. It could be a residual from a building a house that used to be there, and it's just reliving its life. So it's startling if you happen to see it and you're not expecting it, but it more than likely isn't anything that's going to hurt you. Now, if we find something that is constantly hurting people, especially kids. That's where the harvest team can come in and try to get rid of that darker energy for whatever reason it's hurting them.
Okay. All right. I know my wife wanted to ask this one question. It says, "Hey, do the people who sign up to go on ghost hunts with you actually make it through the entire time?"
Well, we just started. All those people at the Comic-Con that filled out those like 7 pages. Yeah, well, hardly any of them answered. Okay, and then half of them, well, you couldn't read what they wrote.
Yeah, some of their emails.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Actually, it wasn't as many as it turned out to be, like half a dozen or so. But we actually haven't been able to get a ghost hunt with anybody from there yet, because we had one, and somebody that was going to come, they were going to come, and then they had a tragedy in their family, couldn't come, so, and then somebody else wasn't able to come, so we're still trying to work it with it, and more than likely, we wouldn't be taking anybody on these darker ones. We'd be going to the places that anybody can go to, because it's like Yorktown Hospital. If you get a group, big enough group, it doesn't cost as much to investigate these places. You can go down there, pay your money, and stay the night and do your own investigation. We would never want to take anybody where there's something bad that can attach to them and hurt them.
Yeah.
Most of the people that did this, they've seen the shows, they want to do this, and they got the opportunity, and we're slowly trying to put it out there where we
actually did have a couple of guests, but they weren't from the email thing. They were actually from friends of ours come with us on that the house rental.
Yeah, the one in Galveston, the carriage house rentals.
Yeah, and that was a lot of fun. They stuck with it the whole time. But I mean, a lot of times these, when we go on these investigations, the environment is not real comfortable.
They're real hot.
Yeah.
They're real cold.
Yeah. No AC. A couple of them don't even have electricity.
Most of them don't have.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
Probably Cold Springs Jail was probably the most comfortable one, since it's a museum also.
Okay.
They have air moving through there.
Yeah, we're fixing to do. There's a Seawolf Park in Galveston that has a submarine and a destroyer. Then they want us to start running people through those. To raise money to help restore
these are all World War II ships.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, we're fixing to do that, and then we're going to go to Helena, Texas, which is the old West town.
They said it was actually somebody else's video I saw. They said that town was probably worse than Tombstone back in the day.
Yeah, it was so violent there that when people had beef with each other, they would tie one hand to the other guy's, and then they'd have a dull knife, and that's how they fight it out
to the death.
Yeah.
They would kill each other with dull knives tied to each other's wrists. How awesome is that? I mean, come on.
That's pretty gnarly. I ain't gonna lie. That's pretty cool. Kill them with the rusty knife.
But the old tavern's still there. The
courthouse.
There's buildings there that were there. Back during the cowboy days. So we're fixing to do that right after we do the Seawolf Park Museum.
And I think, when is the Seawolf Park Museum?
The 26th, the end of the month.
Yeah, the end of October.
Yeah, this week.
Okay. Yeah, and then the Helena thing we're doing the 16th.
November.
I can't remember a lot of stuff. So these guys, I rely on. That's why he's the hardest working man in paranormal. He keeps up with us two. So hell yeah.
Nice. I guess closing all most of this out here, I just had a question. what is you all's bucket list on either your paranormal investigation you want to run, or even a harvesting that you've heard about that you want to really help somebody out with? If there's a bucket list that you have of either one of those, like what would it be?
Well, places that I want to investigate, most of them are out of state and they're not close. That's the biggest problem. Is Waverly Hills Sanatorium. It's a huge building. It's in Kentucky. There's a couple in Pennsylvania. There's the Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. It's actually
Yeah.
There's Pennhurst
Oh, yeah.
and Eastern State Penitentiary, both in Pennsylvania, and then most of Virginia City and Nevada is pretty haunted, and they've got a lot of places in there. Those are my places.
Helena was my place once I found out that it was there, and that's the kind of stuff that they did. I was like, oh hell yeah, sign me up. And all the other ones, Wiggly Hills, and I would like to go to the Black Swan, but he went. I just couldn't go. It was my birthday. I turned 50.
I would.
That's Gen X for you.
Yeah. Holy shit.
I guess my bucket list would be we're changing the harvest to where we're trying to solve cold cases now,
Oh, okay, cool.
and we have a couple of them that we're waiting to see if it becomes fruitful or not, and then but they're all around children.
Okay.
You know, but that's my bucket list, is to find somebody that isn't there, give the parents rest, and then use the energy to possibly locate the killer.
That is amazing, man. I'm sorry, I'm running this up. My wife wants to know again. She's really involved now. Is there really a specific night of the year or month where spirits are more active?
Well, Halloween is because it starts cooling off, right? And, the energy. It's like, if you think about it as energy, when do you start getting shocked touching everything? Around Halloween, right? When it starts drying and cooling, right? Because the energy level has gone up. It seems like summer times, when it's hot and muggy, there's less activity to me. That's the way it seems.
I don't think, as far as I can tell from everything, there's no specific time. It's like when I was talking about my grandparents' house being haunted. It was all the time. It was just never specific.
Oh wow!
Because my mom and aunt stuff, they had things happen to them at different times. They hear footsteps at different times of the night. So I don't know if there's anything. Some of it too, maybe some with the like, if it's somebody who was tragically killed when it's closer to an anniversary of that, it may pop up with more activity locally for that, because it's just a trigger, But I don't know of any specific time, really. It seems to happen whenever. And then it's one of those things too that you can go to a place one time, get this stuff happen. You go to the same place another time, you get a bunch of different things happen, or nothing. It's just kind of a hit and miss.
It's kind of like fishing. You go fishing. Some days you fish and you won't get a bite, and then the next day those be jumping in your boat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the energy to me is the big deal, and when it's hot and stagnant and humid, it seems like the energy doesn't move as well, and that's why this Helena trip, I think, is going to be very, very fruitful.
When is that Helena trip?
November 16th.
All right, I'm gonna put this in the chat for everyone. So November 16th is Helena visit. I guess I say be on the lookout for their video, because I gotta hear about that too.
Yeah, we have a whole bunch of different. I like having a group that has different belief systems. Okay,
Okay. Right.
that way it's open. Everybody's respectful and open in this group, and I think that that is growth, right?
Yeah.
You don't argue over different containers of the same wine, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's a good way to keep things real, keeps me honest, keeps them honest, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, the Helena thing's going to be interesting because I have some friends that are in different belief systems that are going to try things, get things moving along.
Okay.
Since it's that time of year where the energy can flow a little easier. Yep.
Nice. Okay. Hey, honestly, guys, I can't wait. For everyone that's seen me, it's on YouTube. I actually have their links on here, but I'm actually going to wind up putting them in the chat because you guys have got to check out everything that they've got going on. It is awesome. I'm putting up the IG, their YouTube, and their website now. But for everyone else that might want to know, what's the
On the
easiest way to
website, take
reach you
out the
guys?
S. Okay, I see. No, okay.
Is
I was
that
reading
okay?
wrong.
So Gen
Yeah.
X eyes.
Yeah. I just saw the one. Okay, it was the Instagram. Yeah. For whatever reason, I didn't hit the S and when setting up the website in
Okay.
investigations, but everything else has the S in investigation. So I didn't want people to try to put the S in there and it not come up.
No, I got you guys. I got you. Yeah, honestly, you guys have got me excited to see how this is going to go. How long does it usually take you, like after the investigation's over, before you guys actually put up the video? Would it be like doing some editing and working through things before, or are
Yeah,
you guys going to try to live stream it?
it takes me a little while. It's like the latest one we have up there from the carriage house. It seemed to take me a little longer for multiple reasons. I was trying to make sure we had everything because
Okay.
everybody's got their own cameras, so I was trying to collect everything and then trying to determine what can be used, what can't be used. And then we lose our AC in the middle of August and the 3 hottest weeks of the year for 3 weeks.
Ooh,
So I did not want to touch anything with a computer for that time.
fair.
And then it was just, so then it was hard to get back into trying to get it done once, and then just working family stuff. Sometimes it takes a little longer, depending. Now, the one we actually did another investigation at that same time. It's on there also at the cemetery. That one actually was easy because it was just a follow through, and that was just what I filmed and pretty much just left it at that. So that one was pretty easy to post. So I was able to do that one quick. So it's a lot of, just depends on how much stuff we actually get, because if we're setting up stationary cameras, got to go through all that. Like the DVR cameras, like security video cameras, it takes a little while to go through them. And then people's cell phone videos and pictures and any EVPs that we get. So you got to try to find. So sometimes it takes a little longer, but I mean, we will get it up there.
And that's why it's the hardest working man in paranormal.
All right, you got to be at this point, man. I was gonna say, once you have everything set up, let me know because I would love to hear how that went and how distinctly it was different from the other ones. I definitely love to have you guys back on, and wanted to say thank you again so much for you guys just taking out time just to educate and tell us all. And honestly, I did not know it was going to take a pivot on the harvesting. You guys have been great. I'm just saying that if you ever hired me, I last 3 days, because the minute you tell me the harvesting and he came back and you'd be like, "Who's that?" "Oh, that's Chuck." I'm out. Like, you guys are fantastic sports. Thank you so much. I guess the one thing I didn't do is, for those that don't know, I didn't get you all's names. Could you please let us know your names so that once they find you, they knew who you guys are?
I'm Darren.
I'm Mikey.
I'm Aaron.
Guys,
Darren with a D, Aaron with an A.
And Mikey with it.
I like it.
And the other guys aren't here. We'll see. You can see them on the website or in the videos. The other is one of them's Robert, He'll be the other one with a long beard if you see him.
Looks like Duck Dynasty.
And then you'll have Kyle or Trevor. You'll hear about
Trevor. So the dogs can't find him when he goes home.
Yeah, he's got a name that so the demons can't track him down.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have been amazing. I appreciate what you're doing. And I'm not going to lie. I used to be a guy that will not do ghost hunts. But, honey, if you're listening, if you tell me they're doing a ghost hunt, I'll go. I'll go. I'm going to go with holy water across and some prayer beads, but I'll go. You know.
You will be safe with us.
Hey,
I appreciate it.
Because I'm telling you right now, the ghosts love Trevor. They just love Trevor.
All right, as long as if y'all bring Trevor, I'm going to go. Because stick to him, not to me. But guys, thank you so much. If you guys can hang back for like 2 minutes after we're finished, I'll just give you some more information on there as well. But guys, thank you so much for joining us on a Friday evening for Paranormal Investigations and Harvest. I'm going to try to have these guys back as soon as they're available to talk about the Helena investigation. But for now, for Gen X Paranormal Investigations and myself, E.G.O, guys, we are out.